All right, guys, I'm finally getting to the video about how to upload your podcast into a post. I'm just going to give you the bare minimums of what needs to be done so that your article is searchable. So basically, when you log in your dashboard here, you won't have all these options obviously over here that I have. You'll see one that says posts. Just go to posts, go to add new, and give it a second. All right, so the first thing you do is put a title in there. We're just going to call it podcast test run. Doing your title is important because when you click on the paragraph on the body of the article, WordPress is going to automatically create you a URL. And the URL is going to be basically goingfor2.com and your title. So you want to use keywords in your title because the URL is Google searchable. So you want to make sure to have a nice good title with good keywords in there that kind of tell what your podcast is going to be about. If you forget to add your title and you click on the body before putting a title there, it's going to give you a URL of a bunch of numbers and letters that mean nothing to Google. So make sure you do your title first. Now, if you forget once, you can actually go in and do edit. Just put your new title in here, click OK. It'll give you a new URL. Just make sure you don't forget to change that. Otherwise, your URL, once it's posted, I can't fix it. I can, but it ends up being a dead link, which is not good for Google. So make sure you do your title. Easy enough. All right, so here's your body. Obviously, do your recap, post whatever you want. You've got options up here to add media. You can do YouTube videos if you want. Basically, anything you want to put in here, you can do. Now, I do have a template set up, and I can set one up for you guys that don't already have one. You just go to Insert Template. And if I have one set up for you, you just select it from the drop-down box. Now I've got one set up for Kelly. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull up the Red Zone Recap template. Click Insert Template. So you do your recap there. This short code is basically my subscription form for goingfor2.com. I put it in every article, so you can just leave that there at the bottom. All right, as you scroll down here, some things you can ignore. You can ignore the medium. Obviously publish. You can save your draft, preview your draft, publish. Categories, you will need to select your categories so that it tells WordPress where to put your podcast on the page. So the ones you're going to select every time are going to be featured. Select that one. You're going to select podcast. And then if you're with Momentum Shift, you're going to select Momentum Shift. And then your show. So I've got the Study Hall, the Real Deal, the Red Zone Live, and Weekly Rewind are all in there. So we just select the Red Zone for now. WP to Twitter, you can leave that alone. It basically tweets out this article once every 4 hours once it's posted. It'll do it 3 times. It'll automatically add hashtags based on your tags, which I'll show you in a second. But just leave this blank. Don't try to fill anything in there. I can show you how to use it if you ever want to learn how to use it, but for now, just leave it blank. Tags. All right, so there's 2 things about tags. One thing, tags are Google searchable, so you want to put in tags that relate to your podcast. So if you talk about NBA, if you talk about, say, DeMarcus Cousins, put his name in there. Anything that's sort of a tag that relates to your podcast and what you were talking about, you can put in here. The trick is your title. If a word that's a tag, let's say I had NBA in my title of my article, and I had NBA as a standalone tag under tags. When the Twitter publishes your title, it's going to automatically hashtag the words in this tags. So let's say I had an article called NBA Hot Topics, and I put NBA here in the tags. When it tweets out the article, the NBA in my title will have a hashtag, so it'll be searchable. So just keep that in mind when you're doing your title and keywords. You can obviously tag your keywords in your title. It'll hashtag it on Twitter for you automatically. Featured image. This is definitely important. You're going to want to add a featured image. You'll probably end up just using your show image. Once you've uploaded it in here, you can just keep using it over and over again. You can see Momentum Shift's already in here, so we'll just select that for now as our featured image. And I'm going to show you how to select that so that it shows up on Facebook and Twitter as well. So that's a featured image. Format you can skip, layout you can skip, category groups you can skip, rich snippet you can skip. post adverts, all this stuff you can skip. Let's make sure there's nothing else down here before I show you how to do the podcast. All right, before I get to how to upload the podcast, which is this part right here, I'm going to save it as draft, and I'm going to show you how to select your featured image to show up on Facebook and Twitter. You have to save as draft. Add your featured image, which we already did. Do that first, and then save as draft. And I'll show you why in a second. All right, so it's saved. Image is uploaded. We saved it. When you come all the way down to the bottom here, this is your SEO, which is search engine optimization. This is probably the second most important thing you're going to do next to actually putting the content up. You're going to want to write a title. If your title is in here already, like if you like your title, you can just leave it blank. I usually rewrite it. I'll copy and paste my title because sometimes my title is too long. It has characters. I think it's 60 characters you can't go over. So I copy paste it every time. Description, if you don't want the first 15 or so, I forget how many words it is, 160 characters, whatever that is. If you don't want that first part of your article to show up here, you can write whatever description you want. Try to use keywords in all of this because keywords are important. If your keywords are in here, it's also Google searchable. So keywords go in there, and then keywords is here as well. I try to use 5 or less keywords on this part because these keywords should show up somewhere in your title, in your description, and in your content. Preferably in all places that you can possibly put your keyword. It helps Google find you. All right, so that's your description, your title, and your keywords, a part of SEO. The last part I want to show you, and the reason why I did save draft, is if you go to social settings, which is a tab here under SEO, you're going to see all the images that are uploaded in this article. Now, if we didn't save it as draft first, these 2 images would not have shown up yet. It would have just been my logo. So you save as draft, and then all your images, your featured image, and any image inside the article will show up here. So you can select that as your image that'll show up on Twitter and Facebook when you link it. So we'll select, the main Red Zone Live Momentum Shift Radio image here. So this image, when I select that, will now show up as my Twitter and Facebook image. All right, so now I'll show you how to actually upload your podcast. Pretty easy. Once you've gotten your URL, your media URL, and Kelly can probably show you better where to find that through Blog Talk. You basically copy that URL right here. It's not the URL to Blog Talk Radio. It's the actual media link. It'll have MP4, I believe, is what kind of file it's going to be. I believe when I helped Kelly the first time, when you right-click on your screen and you copy-paste here, it puts MP4 and then like dash share and a bunch of numbers. You have to delete all that share part of it, just so it has MP4 as the last thing on there. Once you've got your media URL linked in there, again, talk to Kelly. She can show you where to find it. You click verify URL. It'll actually verify to make sure that's an actual link to a media file that we can actually play. Once you've done that, it'll give you a little green logo saying, podcast selectively uploaded or whatever, something to that effect. The rest of this stuff you can just ignore. You don't need to put anything inside here because it does most of it for you. Some of it's for iTunes, but you don't need to fill anything out. It'll take care of it all for you. Just put the URL in there and you're good to go. Once all that's done and you're happy with it, I would save as draft originally and just let me look at it first. But once you get to the point where you can pretty much do this in your sleep, I'll allow you to publish on your own. But just save as draft. Go to Going for Twos, writer group, and just let me know, hey Jeff, I finished up an article. Can you take a look at it? I will go in and take a look at it. What I'll probably do is I can give Kelly an editor's title, and that way she can go in and look at your post as well to make sure that it's good. So I'll do that tonight. I'll give her an editor title so she can go in and look at your posts in case I can't get to them. And that's pretty much it. So once you've posted it, I'll show you how it looks on the page. All right, so obviously your featured article would show up at the top. As long as you check marked featured as a category, it'll show up here. But it'll show up under latest podcasts. And the cool thing about this plugin that I've got, that where you attach your URL, it allows you to play it from the main page. So they don't actually have to click into your article in order to play it. They can actually click it from right here, or they can click play in new window. It'll actually play in a new window, obviously. They can subscribe to it on iTunes, Android, or RSS. The cool thing about iTunes and the Android buttons is your podcast doesn't actually have to be on iTunes or on Android Play, Google Play, or whatever it's called. It'll actually still create a subscription form for you, even if your podcast is not on iTunes. So that's pretty much it. And if they did want to go in and actually read, the recap, they could do that. I have it set up to play. It's right here at the top, so they can read your recap. They can click play. It's right here at the top of the screen, and then read the recap. And that's pretty much it. If you got any questions, again, you can ask me. You can ask Kelly. We can help you out, or one of the writers in the group can probably help you out. That's it.